Welcome to a BookCon haul from the perspective of someone who didn't go in with VIP, had some loose goals, low expectations, and we still came out having a pretty good time. We'll try to go in chronological order, but we'll see. The first thing we did when we came in was go to the Green Dragon Books booth because they were doing a signing with Grace Vile, whose book Mostly Human Resources comes out in a couple months. My sister is really looking forward to it. It's got cryptids, has kind of an office corporate vibe, but by the way of X-Files, Triangle Agency, that kind of thing. So she was really looking forward to it, which actually got me really looking forward to it. Got wristbanded, got in a signing line, met Grace, got our book plate signed for when the book eventually does come out, as well as a couple of other goodies. I really like when the merch is themed, committing to the bit, so I just think it was really cool to see kind of like corporate business cards or employee key cards as like merch and book promo. We decided to bebop around the show floor a little bit. I was pleasantly surprised to find a booth that was just for Magic the Gathering, which was a pleasant surprise to me as someone who has been kind of getting into the card game since February. They were promoting Seanan McGuire's tie-in book to the game's lore and newest release called Strixhaven Omens of Chaos, which I already knew about because I pre-ordered the book and brought the card that comes with your book's pre-order. I brought that card to the con because I wanted to get it signed by Seanan at the Green Dragon later that same afternoon. So when we went to the booth, they gave us these like zip pouches that had these welcome decks in it. I think these are for standard, but in like specific colors. So I got a black one, and my sister got a green one in hers, which she gave to me, which is great because I love Golgari colors within the game. That's kind of the colors that I really like running and playing. But while we were kind of like getting the gist and getting the rundown about the new release, they also mentioned, oh, Seanan's here if you want to buy the book and get it signed. And I was like, Seanan's here? I turn over. Seanan McGuire is just kind of sitting at this like fancy looking desk and signing people's books. There wasn't even a line. I was like the next person. Jumped in there, asked to get my card signed, and chatted with Seanan for a little bit. I got my command tower signed, which I thought was really cool. She even had top loaders ready. Guess I'm not the only person who thought to bring this and get it signed, but thank you for having that prepared, Seanan. She asked me what college of Strixhaven I was interested in because this book is set in this mage college divided into a couple different houses based on different vibes and magic types, and I really like Witherbloom, which is their school of life and death. It's goth but a little earthy, so I told her that, and she gave me this friendship bracelet that has the little Witherbloom logo on it, and it says, you can't see it, but it says bug off, which I think is really cute. It's also a very pest heavy school. I just thought that was a really cool convergence of hobbies, and I didn't have to go back to get it signed. So thank you so much to Seanan and to Wizards of the Coast. They had a little quiz where you could kind of officially be told what school you belong to, and I got what I already knew confirmed. Witherbloom for life, which is great. My sister got Silverquill, which was pretty fun. From there, bopped around. I went to the Penguin Random House booth, saw that they had the con exclusive edition of Tusklove by Taya Guanzon, and I had to pick it up. I just recently caught up with Critical Role's animated adaptation of The Mighty Nine, and I am still riding the Jester Ford high to see like the wedding edition of this book, which I think is really dope. It has a little guest book signed by some of the characters in universe, which I think was really cool. And when I bought it at the booth, they gave me a little opal looking D20, I think as a gift with purchase. So that was really great. I felt very satisfied there. Keeping the D&D nerdy train going before we get too bookish, of course. But we went to the Dispel booth, which is a dice maker. They make some nice ass, fancy ass, expensive ass dice, but this is like my one big treat for the trip, even though this has already been a trip of indulgences. But I bought this set of dice. This is called the Fairygate set. I feel like I can't really like do it justice. It's got this like opalescent reflect to it, and it's really pretty. I love hoarding dice, and I feel like this was a set that I really wanted. I love playing fairy characters. I love playing like elven girly pop characters, so this will be great for that. And they had a gift with purchase, which was like this displacer kitten bagoo reusable bag type thing, which I'll probably be using to take to game nights with me. So very excited about that. And all the folks there at that booth were super cool. And one of the highlights of this con was getting to run into a couple friends, literally run into. I heard like my name being called across the con and immediately like was like, oh, not tackled, but immediately like got to hug and see some friends that I have never actually met in person, but have known online for a long time. I think since I was in the middle of college. I got to see Christina from Christina's Chapters. I got to see Jan from Jan Agaton, both incredible creators in this space. So I will link and tag them and all of that because they're awesome people in person as they are online. So it was really great to get to catch up with them. I was surprised because this con is massive, so I was super excited that we did get to connect. And if you're seeing this, hey girl, come to California. Both of y'all come visit me. We did a little bit more walking around the floor and kind of just like perusing the little freebies that publishers had out. I got so many bookmarks. I have enough bookmarks to last me a lifetime. Some prints and stickers of books that I already like or are interested in. One thing that I was super excited about that I saw was this sticker sheet and these cards from Orbit promoting one of their upcoming titles, Hopeless Necromantic. By Shiloh Breyer, I believe. I have been looking forward to this book for such fucking long time. It's very D&D core, but D&D, like, make it silly, but also make it traumatizing, which I think is the corner and intersection of TTRPGs that I love to live in. Super excited to see these goodies, snatch them up. Was telling my sister a little bit more about this book, which she already knew about, but I love to yap, so I was just already telling her what I knew about this book. And one of the folks from the publisher who was vending was telling me a little bit more about like a little bit more behind the scenes about the book, which I think was really cool, and actually ended up giving us a code for the NetGalley copy, which I immediately downloaded and am going to be reading pretty soon. So thank you so much to Kaylee from Orbit. You literally made like that day of my con. That was incredible. That was so exciting, and I'm so fucking excited to read this and also to get this book when it comes out. So from super high highs to super low lows, we tried to do a couple of ARC drops. Unfortunately, things did not go as planned. A lot of the stories you might have heard about, like crazy lines, people getting pushed around. We did experience some of that, unfortunately. There was a point where I was in a line. Don't think anyone really knew what we were in line for at a certain point, and I think that was a sign that I had to just cut my losses. I think I was trying for an arc of Immortal Rose by Alexandra Bracken, which I really wanted, but I did not want that badly. I don't think I would want any book that badly to be in that situation. Chalked it up to a loss and tried and figured, you know what, let's try a different side quest. This might not work out in my favor, but you know what, I've already taken one L today. What's another loss? I'd already seen before the con, D. Elizabeth, whose book She Haunts Me Still comes out later this year, mentioned on her Instagram that at one of her that at each of her signings she would have a physical arc for the first person who would tell her Juliet's first words in the play Romeo and Juliet. And as a Shakespeare nerd, I had it, I loved it. I literally put it on a keychain just in case I did end up seeing her. because I am extra and I wanted to be different. But you know what? I figured someone else is probably already in line. And if it's like going to the first person, it's probably not going to be me. But at the very worst case, I can get a book plate signed and at least like have a cool interaction. So walked over, stood in a long ass line for the escalator for some reason. I don't know why there was only one real functioning escalator that was being kind of publicized to attendees, but stood in a long ass escalator line, went back down to Green Dragon Books, who I guess actually is like my personal MVP of the con. They were really great. Got my wristband, got in line, was the second person in line, and got the iykyk. Yeah, I know. This is really exciting. This was huge for me. I think this is literally the highlight of my con. I did not think I was gonna make this shit happen, but it did. Shout out to D. Elizabeth. You're great to chat with, and thank you so much for this opportunity and for signing it and for personalizing it. I am so excited for this. If you like cryptic college settings, theater, messy love triangle-esque situations, bisexuality, probably gonna want this on your TBR at some point this year. That's all I'm saying. This was definitely like the win I needed after the string of losses that I experienced. Went to Indie Alley and got to meet Jacqueline Benson, who wrote the Raiders of the Arcana series, which I really love. If you like adventure movies a la The Mummy, a Jumanji, Jungle Cruise, things like that, that is a really great series to get into. It is so fun. I was able to get some book plates signed for my copies at home, but what she did have in stock was her London Charismatic series, which I think I've heard described as Edwardian X-Men. So I purchased the first book and got that one signed by Jacqueline, while also telling her how excited I am for Raiders of the Arcana 4. Because I need it in my hands like yesterday. Give me more Constance. That is all I'm saying. Walked around the expo hall for a little bit, got to say hi to my friend Mari at Mysteries with Mar. Literal incredible human. Got to exchange like care packages. I gave her a charm, she gave me some stationery goodies, and got to catch up a little bit, which was really exciting because we've been trying to hang out a lot more before. Unfortunately, we don't live in the same state anymore, so it's been really fun to even get to see her again in a different state this time. So hey girl, excited for her eventual stationery crawl. Later on, I went to a Ivy Ophelia signing at the Love and Legends booth and was able to get my copy of Fruit of the Flesh signed. I let her know that I'm currently in the middle of the Arachnid and really liking it and really enjoying it, and immediately got hit with an apology, so I'm very scared about what's going to happen later on in the book, but you know what, it's fine, it'll be great. I love angst. And went back down to the expo hall, stopped by Mad Lab Studios, which is a perfume shop. I used to buy stuff from them on Etsy. I think they have their own like online storefront now, which is great. They do a lot of character inspired perfumes that are actually pretty spot on to like what I imagine certain characters smell like. I originally knew about them because of Six of Crows. So it was really cool to see them in person. I think I got a free like little D20 with my purchase. So really awesome small business to support if you're in the mood for some character inspired perfume. We ran into Kate Jacobs, who originally wrote The Princess Knight. I know it's The Princess Knight, but I always think of it as Medievally Blonde, because that was, I think, its original title, but was able to say hi, say that I really enjoyed the book. And she actually had like a signed book plate and like some overlay art and some character art, and she just handed it to us, which I thought was really sweet. And so like, thank you for letting me like stop you during lunch and for the goodies, because this was just a really nice surprise. We walked around Indie Alley for a little bit, which by the way, I think getting to see so many different indie authors in one space was just such a good idea, and one of the highlights I think of what this BookCon did right. I really enjoyed that there was a space for folks to promote their books independently from a publisher, but got to chat with a couple of different authors, some of which I got some signings for when I eventually do pick up books by them, just because like the interactions were just really fun and really great. I got a book plate from Elise Kova, and I got this art print signed by Miranda Lynn. Overall, kind of stayed bopped around Indie Alley until show closed for the day. That was day one. That felt like a year, but that was just one day. Ate a pizza, cleared out my bag, nursed my feet to health, and got ready to do it all over again the next day. The next day, I think they got the line situation a little bit more organized, or maybe we just got there early. We were pre-checked in and kind of got into this like loading hall until show open, to which we were kind of escorted into the expo. So it really worked out for us. I think second day, we didn't have to like sit outside in the sun or the rain. So I will say that was a positive. Booked it to Penguin, got wristbanded for one of their like bookish matchmaking events. I got a finished copy of Songbird of the Sorrows, which I'm not too familiar with, but it's got these like beautiful sprayed edges. The cover is gorgeous. I stumbled into a signing line for the bookish box, who is doing a dual signing for Holly Renee and Amber Palmer, both of which I'm like kind of familiar with, but not too familiar. It's perfect because they were doing chapter samplers and got those signed. I think both of these covers are very cute and they match really well. Holly's actually came with this little badge ribbon, which, you know what, I'm not gonna say anything, I'm gonna let it speak for itself. Incredible, amazing. Lost out on a couple more ARC drops, which is totally fine. Sat by the LaCroix booth for a little bit and kind of like nursed myself back to life a little bit, just sitting and watching lines pass me by. Got in a line and got to chat with some really cool folks. We're actually also vending at this event, so it was nice to kind of like talk to someone and like hear about their experience on the other side of the booth, because I feel like it was a tough con for everyone on all sides, but getting to commiserate was really nice. Then I went to the only like reservation I think I was able to really get for this con, which was a signing by Julie Murphy for her new book Student Union, which is a university new adult fake marriage romance. Got a copy of the book signed. It also came with a bunch of other goodies, like stickers, a pennant that said yearning that I could not take with me because it could not fit in my suitcase home, but it's really cute. It says, I have been proposed to basically by Julie Murphy, and I would say yes. I did get to see this until after, so I didn't get to say yes in person, but it's fine. Glad to know that someone out there would propose to me, and it's romance author Julie Murphy. Thank you, shout out Julie. At this point, the con was kind of coming to a wind down, so I was just getting in whatever lines I saw and killing time and seeing what was still available, things like that. I was able to get an arc of A Kiss of Crimson Ash, which was really exciting because the line literally capped like a couple people after me, and got into line back again at the bookish box, who were so sweet. I went to ask them to see if they had any spots left, and they were super like transparent with me about how many folks they had in line, but since they saw that there were spots, they like let me in. I was able to get an arc of Behind the Iron Gate by Allison Carr Wachter with this gorgeous cover. So truly shout out to the bookish box because they helped make this happen when they totally didn't have to, and they were super in every line that I was in for that booth throughout the con. They were super nice and like pretty clear with folks about like where their line started, when their line started, which was not always the case at certain booths, so shout out to them. Ended up back at the Hachette booth towards the end of the day, and they were clearing out the last of like the freebies and goodies and giveaways and galleys that they had via trivia, and I was able to get in line, was kind of scared, and the question ended up being super easy. It was like 5th grade level trivia, which I feel like I should know that I would be able to get, but still, I didn't know if I was gonna get it, was able to get it, and got a paperback of this Monster of Mine, which, by the way, gorgeous, gorgeous cover. So that was really fun, getting to like exercise my brain for a little bit. was sitting and waiting for my sister to come back from another signing she was at, when I saw in the corner of my eye at the Magic the Gathering booth, there were a clump of folks in a circle, and I was curious about what was happening. So I walked over. Everyone kind of turns to me. I feel like I've intruded on something that I shouldn't have. Asked what was going on. They said, oh, we're doing trivia to kind of clear out like our prizes, things like that. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. They ask the question. I immediately know the answer because I love Strixhaven. I play like the D&D module, and I've been really liking this new set release. So I already know the answer. I immediately raise my hand. Everyone turns to me again. I answer. It's correct. They immediately say, well, that was our last question. The person next to me is like, you really just came in and sniped it. That felt great. I got, here's my mini prize. I got a Magic the Gathering coloring book, as well as 2 other welcome decks. Or I got 2 of the other colors. I think I'm only missing white. And also got 2 Jumpstart booster packs, which I already opened and put in my collection. I'm not gonna say no to free Magic stuff. As we were leaving, we ran into the Rakuten Kobo booth, which was where one of the people that we talked to earlier on in the day said that they were vending, so we went to go say hi. Got told a little bit more about the Kobo, which I think is really cool. I've been debating my options between like Kindle, because lately I have not been a fan of the way that Kindle has been moving and have been considering ways to divest from the Amazon ecosystem. So getting to hear more about an alternative was really cool. But we got to see our friend from earlier, which was really cool, walked us through a little bit more and gave us a little hat that says busy reading on my Kobo. So maybe this eventually will come to fruition once my current Kindle color breaks down. Either way, still a cool way to close out a very busy con. Overall, I feel like a lot of people's criticisms of the con I totally understand and also really resonate with me in terms of crowd control, in terms of overselling tickets, and also in terms of line organization versus the amount of space that they could have gotten with how large the Javits Center was. That said, I also feel like if cons like this, creating your own personal win conditions and being ready to have those win conditions shift and change is also a really crucial way to keep yourself having a good time and making sure you don't feel too defeated, because there's still a lot of good and a lot of really cool things to do, even if you don't get like the one thing that you want. There's still some other experiences to be had and ways to still have a complete and enjoyable experience, though I know not everyone's situations are the same. I personally had a really great con without having to spend a ton of money. I think being open to new experiences, being friendly to both fellow attendees and booth people, and also keeping an eye on socials, seeing what's available there. I think those were all really helpful things for me. Overall, I really came more for like the community, the new experiences, getting to say hi to authors, and I think that is what I was able to walk away with, as well as a couple of cool things. Would I go again? Maybe not, just because it's such a far trip for me as a Californian. Would I go to events similar? Yeah, sure. Like, I love going to events like this. I am a convention brat. I enjoy them. I will say BookCon specifically, both for its location as well as its current parent company connections, I don't think I can fully confidently say I will be in New York around this time next year, but who knows unless things change. That is pretty much everything I got or did or saw, other than like other trinket trading or tote bags or bookmarks and like other like stickers. I figured it might cut some of the clutter of this video down if I didn't show everything, but these are like the highlights. Otherwise, really great time. Shout out to everyone I saw. I love the book community, and I love when we get to gather and do things in a positive and productive and constructive way. Hoping to get to do something similar soon. I'm literally going to Y'all West like tomorrow, but really glad I was able to do this. And that's it. Bye.